Hello everyone, thanks again for joining me for another Floof and Feathers drawing video. There's been a lot of those these months. Usually I just put out once a week if you've been watching the series so far. But again, if you've been keeping up on things, this is Inktober, where during the month of October there is a series of daily art prompts that are put out for people to follow along with, kind of make their own interpretations. So I'm putting out a regular series of videos this month. Not going to be able to do one every day. If you're seeing this, I missed October 4th. I wasn't able to get yesterday, but today, October 5th, I was able to get a new prompt finished for this and putting out a little video of watching today's comic coming to life. So today's prompt for October 5th in Inktober was flame. So this being, kind of, very early fall. Autumn hasn't gotten too chilly yet. It's kind of it's good bonfire season. See a lot of people will be outside with fires in the backyard, toasting marshmallows, having friends over. I figured that was good inspiration, and I wanted to draw Finnegan and Pippin, our two dogs, enjoying a little marshmallow bonfire of their own. Also, if you're just kind of catching this video by chance, if you're new, just kind of joining the series, Floof and Feathers is an ongoing webcomic that I write and illustrate that is very heavily inspired by our real life pets, our two dogs, Finnegan and the younger one, Pippin, and our cockatoo, Olivia. Olivia's not in today's comic, as you see, it's just Finn and Pip. But also, Olivia was the kind of central focus of the previous two Inktober comics that I have done already. So I figured I'd give her a little bit of a break and let Finn and Pip share the spotlight for a little bit in today's episode. So they're out here toasting their marshmallows, getting a nice bonfire going. I thought that was a nice kind of cozy vibe for the flame prompt for today's Inktober drawing. Uh, Also, I should mention, I say that these comics are very much inspired by our pets. This is one of those instances where I have taken a heavy, heavy level of poetic license with drawing today's comic in particular, simply because of the fact that Finnegan in real life, he's the dog here on the left that I'm finishing inking in right now. That's Finnegan. In real life, he is very much terrified of fire in any way, shape, or form. It's kind of sad. We're trying to help him kind of confront that paranoia as much as we can. But we can only do so much, unfortunately. We do have a little fire pit in the backyard that we'll use just for, for if it's a nice evening on the weekend, or if we have some friends over, we'll get a fire going, we'll get some campfire food and some drinks and have them over. We'll sit out there for a while. And when we do, Pippin, he loves coming outside and joining the fire with us. So that's Pip over here on the right that I'm drawing now. This is very much based in reality. He loves it. Actually, a little too much. He gets very curious about the fire pits, and he'll just walk right up next to it, and his big floppy ears are just flapping around, coming within and less than an inch of the side of the fire pit because he's just sniffing all around, wanting to see what it is, wanting to investigate. He's into it. He loves it, to the point where it's actually a little dangerous. So we have to reel him in and hold him in our lap because he just wants to get right up there next to it. Finnegan, on the other hand, when we have a fire going, he wants to be out there and he wants to be with us so badly. He really wants to enjoy it. And he'll come out there and then we get the fire started and he will just retreat to the far back corner of the backyard, right where the fence um, butts up next to the side of the house. We have some big shrubs there over in the back corner, and he will just crawl in and just hide behind the bushes. And we'll turn over and look, and you can just see his face back there, just peeking out, watching us, because he just wants to be in the party so bad, but he's just so scared of the fire and he can't do it. And within 15 minutes, we have to just let him inside because he just wants to go inside and not be anywhere near it. It's very sad. Also, I love drawing these kind of campfire comics because of the sort of uh, shadow shading that I get to do. You can see with Finn's head there, drawing some darker shadows, kind of up around the crown of his head and over the ears, and also more pronounced shadows on the shoulders and in the black spots of his fur there, much more than what I normally do, just because when you have it colored in like that, once you get the fire going in the foreground and the sunset in the background, it very much gives off a sensation of him standing behind the fire and that sort of glow lighting him up. And you'll see it again with coloring Pippin here in just a sec as well. But it just kind of gives it that extra nice touch and gives off the illusion that they very much are standing behind a fire. It just kind of helps things pop a little bit more and gives it a little bit more dimension. And I just love the kind of glowing effect that it does. So whenever I can do a comic like this where they are around a fire, I love kind of the challenge of it, of giving that little extra detail. So you'll see here with Pippin, so I fill in the shadow of his ears, and then I give some extra shadow on the outside, kind of where the light is kind of hitting the curve of his head, and leaving all of that in shadow while the rest of his face is lit up. Doing the same with his shoulders and arms, just giving some extra shadow there, so that way where it's lighter really stands out in contrast. And especially once I get the fire effect drawn into the foreground and get the sunset effect in the back, that will really help bring that to life. You'll see. But it's always fun doing these kinds of drawings. That's also a big part of why I enjoy doing Inktober so much, because normally, if you've seen these videos before, if you're already familiar with the series, normally I will put out a Floof and Feathers comic about about once a week or so, just to try to keep it a little consistent and give myself time during the week to work on these. Um, but also, it's just very much just kind of taking day-to-day inspiration from whatever they've been up to over the week and making a little comic about that. Um, but what's nice with Inktober is the fact that you're given a set of prompts to work from and saying, okay, this is what's this is what you're drawing. This is the prompt for today. This is, interpret it's just like a one or two word phrase, but it's left up to you to interpret it as, okay, what do you see with this word? What do you want to draw based off of this word? And so, because of the fact that I'm not picking the sort of base inspiration, it presents opportunities like this to sort of challenge myself a little bit more and do new kinds of shading and effects and coloration and try things that maybe on a regular week to week basis, I just wouldn't think to do, or I might be scared to try, but it's okay. Well, it's Inktober. Everyone's kind of doing their own thing. Put out a new piece every day. Let's just try it and see what happens. So it's really nice. It's just a really nice way to challenge yourself and see what you're capable of. Um, but yeah, so again, anyone, if you're looking to try to test your own boundaries with art, if you're looking for inspiration to try something new, I always highly recommend trying these Inktober prompts. It's a lot of fun. I know it can be called an art challenge sometimes, but it's not really. That makes it sound like it's kind of like a contest, and it's really not. It's more to challenge yourself, I would say, in that regard. But it's definitely a lot of fun, and it's a great way to get some new inspiration to try things that, like I said, you might not think to try, or you otherwise might not be comfortable trying. But it just gives you room to kind of experiment with yourself and see what you're capable of. It's always a lot of fun. Here I am just adding in their speckles. Always a very important detail of any Floof and Feathers comic is making sure that Finn and Pip get their speckles. Can't forget that. Let's see. So now that's done. Now we can go ahead and add in the, well, actually, we gotta do the shading on their faces now. And again, I'm giving it a little extra shading just to really kind of make the lighter part of the fur pop out more and give it that kind of effect of being lit up from the front with the campfire. So very much like what I did with their darker fur, doing the same thing here with their white fur, just giving it a little bit extra shadow from what I normally would, just around the edges to kind of give it more of that front lighting effect. And then we got Finny Egg, another line there. And then we'll do the same with Pippin over here. Add in some extra shading around top of his snout, there in his arm. There we go. Perfect. Yeah, and like I said, once I actually draw in the fire and the darker background, it'll stand out even more. And that'll be coming up in just a few minutes, I believe. But yeah, so just really enjoying these Inktober prompts. It's always a great time of the year. I hope that everyone will stick around and keep watching these comics coming to life. Hope you'll enjoy reading the rest of the series, just because it is so much fun to work on. Again, I don't know that I will be able to get in an Inktober prompt every day this month, but I am going to be doing as many as I can. So you'll definitely, so if you enjoy watching these come to life, if you like watching the creative process of how I make these comics, definitely recommend hitting subscribe, liking, making sure you turn on your notifications, just so you can see all future Floof and Feathers comics videos if you enjoy this. Also, if you are interested in reading the rest of the full series, there is a link to my website below in the description that will have not only all of the Inktober comics, but that will have the full Floof and Feathers comic series all the way from when I first started this a little over 2 years ago. Uh, if you do go back and read those, just a little note of caution I always give people. The first, the very early comics, I love them, but they are very, very, very rough, very crude. Not in terms of subject matter, just in terms of how they're drawn and presented. When I first started this comic series, again, it was a little over 2 years ago when I first started doing this. It was something that I just started as just kind of something fun on the side. I had wanted to do a web comic, so I got a drawing tablet and just jumped right into it. Had no idea really what I was doing. Just sort of went for it. So this has very much been a learn as you go process. I like to think that I have developed my skills with doing these different kinds of comics and effects and just putting them together to look much neater and a little bit more professional in the last couple of years since I started. So again, if you do go back to the full series and read those, just be forewarned, the very early Floof and Feathers comics are a little rough, but if you do read them, I appreciate it greatly. Also, below in the description, I'll have some links to some of my social media. If you want to just give me a follow, say hi, just kind of come along for the ride, always appreciate it. And finally, if you want to help support the series even further, Floof and Feathers is also on Patreon. If you want to support me there, you can get access to lots of behind the scenes content, previews, lots of exclusive bonuses and rewards that you won't be able to find anywhere else. Really great stuff. But anyway, with that being said, I just appreciate everyone coming along for the ride, watching this latest Inktober comic coming to life. Hope that you enjoy continuing to read and continuing to watch as the month of October progresses. And I will see everyone back here again next time.